So tonight, you don't really need a whole lot of props. You could do everything in the chair if you wanted, if you don't like to lie on the floor, and then either like a comfy blanket or a pillow. So if you guys don't have those, you can run and grab those quick. And then tonight we're going to be focusing on breath and expansion. And so we're going to work on like filling the body with space and also our physical body taking up space and just being comfortable with like letting ourselves go wide, but also like taking up space in rooms and places that you're in and not playing it small. So taking up space in the breath sense and the physical sense and also in like the metaphorical sense. So if you start to stray and get off track and the mind starts to wander, then you can just bring it back to your breath and have that be your focus and your anchor for the practice. But let's get started with, we're going to come into the 3-part breath and try that in different orientations. So we'll start with this breath sitting down, and then we'll try it lying down and see how that varies the breath and if there's any changes that you see within that. So let's just close our eyes or have a soft gaze. And just start to take some inhales and exhales. And see how it feels for you today. In yoga, there is another language. It's called Sanskrit. And in Sanskrit, the word for breath is pranayama. And like the root word of that is prana. And prana means life force. And so your breath is your life force, but prana is also like in everything. And so as you breathe, you're moving that energy, moving that prana around. So not only is it your breath that is moving, it's all of this energy flowing through the body. All right, as you start to take that inhale, fill the belly space, and then the ribs, and finally the chest. And as you exhale, release it from the chest, the ribs, the belly. And then do that again. So as you inhale, bottom to top, taking that smooth inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to release that exhale from the top to the bottom. Moving that energy through the body. Continuing with that breath. I'm going to read you just a little quote about pranayama from a very common book. And it says, pranayama, the breath, is the pause and movement of inhalation and exhalation when it is secured. So right before you take that inhale and right before you exhale, that's the pranayama, the breath work. So notice how easy or maybe difficult it is for you to breathe as you're sitting up. Notice if there's any areas in the torso that the breath might get stuck. And then we're going to start to transition either onto your belly or onto your back. You can choose which one is more comfortable or maybe more challenging for you if you want to add something a little bit different. And we're going to come into the same 3-part breath and compare it to sitting. So as you take that inhale, fill the torso bottom to top. Slow exhale, see if you can release top to bottom. And as you're taking this breath, feeling your body expand on the inhale and relax with ease on the exhale. Take up space. Two more breaths like this. And then maybe ask yourself, are you afraid to take up space? Are you pretty good at taking up space, like in a metaphorical sense, like at work or out in public or at home? And then as you lie here, have a sense of how much space your physical body takes up, as well as the energetic body. So your energetic body is going to reach out a little bit further, like a foot further than your physical body. So if someone, like when someone's like, I'm not touching you, but you can still feel that sense of them in your like bubble space. That's your energetic field. So take a little awareness of what that space feels like for you right now. And throughout this practice, we want to be able to play with that space. We want to be able to expand it when we need, bring it in closer when we need, and be able to fluctuate our space as needed. Good. So if you're on your belly, you can roll to your back. You can do this in a chair as well. You're going to reach your arms up overhead like you're stretching in the morning. Good morning stretch. Arms reach up overhead. Point the toes and feel this nice stretch through the body. And when I do it, I have just like a natural inhale that happens as I stretch, and as I exhale, I find a little sense of relaxation. And then let's just walk the arms and the legs over to the right side so that you're in a line, banana shape. Feeling that stretch through the left side body. Deep inhales and exhales here. Bringing it back to center and over to the left side. Good. Inhale, bring it back up. One more good morning stretch. Everything reaches outward. Exhale, let it relax. Then we're gonna come into like a starfish shape. So you're gonna have your arms in an X, legs out in an X, and start to expand in every direction. All 6 directions. So out from the head, both arms, the tailbone, and both legs. You can feel yourself expanding. Maybe you reach towards the right arm a little bit more, towards the center, and then towards the left arm. Doing what feels good in the starfish pose. And then you can come back, relax the arms, relax the legs. Maybe it feels good to hug the knees in towards the chest. And then let yourself relax. We're gonna come into a figure 4 pose with the legs. So again, you can either do this pose lying down on your back, or you could do it in a chair. If you're on your back, let's bend both knees. Bring the right leg over the left knee. So your right ankle crosses over the left knee. And you can hang out here if this feels good. Or you can lift the left leg off the ground and thread your arms behind or holding on to your left leg. If you're in a chair, you're going to do the same thing with ankle over knee. And maybe you pull up on it, or you could just grab the foot and knee and pull it towards the chest. But as you're in this figure 4 pose, or you could even lean forward if you're sitting. As you're in this figure 4 pose, you feel that expansion and that openness of the right hip. Sometimes I like to bring my left fingers in between the toes of my foot and feel that expansion there to open up the foot. Oftentimes, because of the shoes that we wear and how they're designed, our feet become into a shape that is not so natural. And so as we expand those toes, we're able to ground and walk a little bit more natural. Good. Let's relax the right leg. And we'll come into the other side, crossing the left ankle over the right knee. Either grabbing behind, or if you're next to a wall, you could even put this right foot against the wall. Maybe have those fingers between the toes. Find your breath. So you should feel this stretch kind of right on the side/back of that left leg, as well as maybe a little bit in the low back. Let the feet relax. Okay. Take a moment to feel where your physical body is at in relation to space. And we're going to bring the legs to a 90-degree angle and the arms straight up in front of us. So you can, if it's hard to bring the knees up, you can let them come in closer to the body so it's less weight. Or you could just do one leg at a time. Arms are up. And we're going to be doing opposites eventually. But let's just send the right leg out, right leg in, right leg out, right leg in. One more time. Feeling this core work, kick in a little bit. Relax the right leg. Let's do the left. Send the left leg out and in. And just take it to a place that you feel that initial core kick in. It doesn't have to be totally straight. You could just have a little bit back. Okay. Let's do the arms. Right arm back. 2 times. Left arm. Feeling that mobility in the shoulder. Good. Okay. Let's do right leg, left arm. So the right leg's coming away, left arm is coming away. And I don't have to go I can go right here, and I already feel that, like, ooh, I gotta engage the core to stay supported. So again, you could do it with just one leg lifted. Back to center. Right leg, left arm, away. And back. One more time. Good. Let's do the other side. Left leg, right arm away. 2 more times. And relax. We're going to come into this practice one more time. This is dead bug, right? You can imagine like a bug lying on its back. And this time when we do it, I want you to see how small you can make the movements. And you can do it however you'd like. You can do it one leg at a time, or you can just start to go back and forth between the two. And see if you can concentrate on those movements between the hip joint and the shoulder joint as they start to move off the center of your body. And that concentration is at the belly button. So everything is radiating out from the center, which is going to be your belly button for a sense of ease. So if you concentrate on the belly button, the navel center, and start to move your body parts off and away from the center, that's going to give us a sense of space. All right, relax. That's a lot of core work. And we're going to come on to our side. Let's come on to our left side body so that our left shoulder is on the ground. And this is where a blanket or a pillow is helpful to roll up under the head. And set yourself up for a 90-degree angle. You could also do this one in a chair, just sit in a chair and have the arms straight out in front of you. So I'll give you a second to set yourself up. As you're lying down or sitting, I want you to have a 90-degree angle of the legs and a 90-degree angle from the torso to the legs. Shoulders stacked one on top of another. We're coming into sunrise, sunset pose, which is a twist. And as we twist, we want to focus on two things today. One being your breath. How can you twist through the spine and the ribs, having that different orientation of the lungs and still breathe fully? And then how can you twist the actual physical bones of the spine? So stacking the right arm on top of the left, and then slowly opening up the right arm till you feel it just rest in the shoulder socket, so that it's not going beyond and stretching like the armpit, but straight up. And your arm's gonna stay here. So if I were to drop my arm, it'll come right to my side. Start to twist from the belly button back to that navel. Start to twist open through the ribs into your twist. If I were to drop my arm, still on my side. Come back up from the navel center, vertebrae by vertebrae, up. Again, twist it open. If the arm is too heavy or it's just something else to worry about, bend the arm in half. Open from that navel point, twist open. You can let the head roll with it. Back up to center. Let's do it one more time. Twist from the center. You can start to feel the belly go, the chest go, shoulder, and finally the head as you twist. Open it back up. Reach this right arm above the head. Send the right leg long and stretch. And then maybe you let the arm fall back, the right leg shoots towards the front. And you just let yourself fall to wherever you do. And then just take any movement that feels good. Good. You can roll to your other side. Coming onto your right side body, taking your time. Set yourself up. Legs at a 90-degree angle. Neutral spine. Shoulders stacked one on top of another. Open up the arm. Left arm comes up. I'm just going to go ahead. Bring my hand towards my chest. Elbow is pointing up towards the ceiling. And from here, we're twisting. So you want to see if you can start that twist. Like if you were to draw a line straight back from your belly button to your spine, start to twist open from there. And imagine your spine is like a spiraling staircase. And as you twist, it starts to spiral one on top of another, like the neck stare up. And as you twist through the vertebrae, you get a bigger twist with the whole spine. Opening it up. Back to the center. Couple more times. Twist it open through the belly button, ribs, shoulder, head. And as you get to the end of the twist, that might be where you feel the restriction of breath. So maybe you pause there, take a deep inhale and exhale, and then you can come back. One more time. Good. Reach the left arm over the head. Shoot the left leg long. Feel that body stretch. And then you can helicopter it any way that you would like. Good. Okay. We are going to make our way either into a tabletop position on our hands and knees, or you could use a chair for tabletop position as well. So this is tabletop position on a chair. Stack it up so that eventually you can have as close or a neutral spine, or you can be on all fours. Totally up to you. And you can change from class to class. You don't always have to do tabletop on the floor. You don't always have to do it from a chair. And you can change throughout the practice if you want to try one or the other. From here, in tabletop, we're gonna do like the reverse of the dead bug and start to expand outward from here. Now, as well as like stability of the core, we're gonna add in a little bit of balance as well. So let's go ahead and kick back the left leg. You can just have it slightly bent or fully straight, or just hovering off the ground. Good. Let it lower. Let's do the right leg. As you lift this leg, I want you to squeeze the right glute. So you have stability in your right glute and your core. Relax. Inhale, extend the left arm. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, extend the right arm. Exhale, relax. Extend the left leg. Inhale, right arm. And as you're here in this balancing pose, do you feel like the hips are even? Or do you feel like you're really rolling on that right hip or letting yourself fall? So see if you can have a strong neutral spine and neutral hips. as you're in this balance. Otherwise, come out of it. Don't add the arm. Relax. Let's do the other side. Kick it back, right leg. Strong right glute as you kick that leg back to keep the pelvis neutral. So if I were to place my hand or plate at your hips, it's not going to tilt one way or the other. And then, if you can do that, you can extend the opposite arm. And then just play around with this balancing pose. And ask yourself, what's my limit? Can I reach further? Can I take up more space? What's stopping me? Is it a physical limitation that's stopping me? Is it a mental limitation that's stopping me? Or maybe is it an energetic tie that's holding me back? And see if you can reach those fingertips further. See if you can feel that elongation through the spine, finding space between each individual vertebrae. Maybe if you don't want to lift the legs and you don't want to lift the arms, you still can find that expansion through the spine. So as you're here, you start to reach the head forward, the top of the head forward, and the tailbone back. So it's like someone is playing a very gentle tug of war, pulling you in both directions and feeling that. And as you're here, you take some easygoing inhales and exhales and see if you can start to plug the breath in to those spaces. Good. You can relax wherever you are. Either stand up or take a child's pose here. And shake it out. We're going to come into one more practice on our hands and knees before we come up to standing. So if you need a break from the knees, you can come up to a chair or find an extra blanket under the knees or the wrist. From here, we're going to come into cat-cow. And in our cat-cow, we want to find extra space again. More space, more space. Take up as much space as you can during this practice. And we're going to do that by using our breath. Okay? So, each direction that we go, we're going to incorporate the breath. So, find your neutral spine. And as you take an inhale, we're going to drop the belly, roll the tailbone up. Exhale, we're going to suck the belly in and round the spine towards the ceiling. Drop the chin towards the chest. Exhale, open it up. Find that cow pose. Lift the head up. Exhale, suck the belly in and up, round the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's flip the breath to the opposite movement and see what feels better in the body. So this time, as we take an inhale, we're gonna round the spine, suck the belly in. So it's an inhale. Exhale, drop the belly, lift the head. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, let it all go. Find a neutral spine. And we're going to come up to standing. So take your time to get there if you're on the floor. If you're already at standing, you can shake it out. Maybe grab a drink of water. So even as you're here on your mat, how much space can you take up? Or in your room, wherever you're at, can you reach out? Maybe you take a little bit of a spin, the arms out. Reach into all corners of the room. And then what about floor to ceiling? Do you feel like you're small here? Or can you find some extra space? Stand a little bit taller. Good. From here, we're going to come into our starfish pose again, standing. So you can bring the feet a little bit wider than hip distance. You can bring the arms up nice and wide and find your human X or starfish pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, relax into it. Inhale. Maybe you take a little bit of a back bend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Find a neutral spine, neutral pelvis. Bring the hands to the hips. And from here, we're going to come into a forward fold. So you're going to keep your wide legs, neutral spine, and start to fold forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale. You can turn your chair around or have a support. Back up. Inhale. Feel that hinging at the hips. Exhale. Good. Last time, we're going to hold our forward fold here. So you can either bring the forearms to a chair and relax here, or you can either have like a blanket or something propped up on the floor, or going as far as it feels comfortable. You can allow your spine to round here if that feels good in your forward fold, or if you want to stay conscious of the spine, you can keep it neutral. But as you're here, you start to feel this expansion through the back of the legs. And if it feels super tight, imagine sending your breath there. The pranayama, the prana of the life force. Sending a little extra love to the back of the legs. Let them relax, open up. Inhale, bring it up. Heel toe the feet together. Good. Okay, we're gonna cool down a little bit now. So we can come back onto our backs. We'll do a couple poses here. Actually, if you're not on your back yet, let's come to seated. You could do it either. We'll do that. You could do it seated or lying on your back. We're going to come into a butterfly pose. So if you prefer to do butterfly pose seated and get a little bit more open through the hips, you can do seated, or you can do butterfly pose resting. Totally up to you. If you would like some extra support, you can bring a blanket or a pillow under the knees. This also takes some strain off of the low back to have support. If you're seated, you could lean into it a little bit. And start to find that slow breath. Slow it down a bit. This would be a good spot to do the Ujjayi breath. And so the Ujjayi breath is that constriction of the throat. You're keeping the mouth shut, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And it feels as if you're fogging up a window. And it might sound like a Darth Vader. And the exhale is forceful. Just another way to move the energy. Good. From here, you can pick one final pose or stretch that you would like to do. I'll give you a couple options if you'd like. Otherwise, you have free range. You could either do windshield wipers, where you're letting the knees drop from side to side on your back. You could do a spinal twist, where you let both knees drop to the side and hold there. Or you could do legs up the wall or legs up a chair. You have about 2 minutes to do your final pose. So take your time and don't rush through it. and start to make your way into your final rest for integration and relaxation. Setting yourself up with props, either lying on your back or in a chair. Shutting off the lights, or covering your eyes. For tonight's meditation, I'm going to be reading you a mindful breathing script. And so as you rest here, having a sense of breath and expansion, begin by taking several long, slow, deep breaths, breathing in fully and exhaling fully. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Bring your full attention to noticing each in-breath as it enters your nostrils, travels down to your lungs, and causes your belly to expand. And notice each out-breath as your belly relaxes and moves air up through the lungs and back through the nostrils or mouth. Invite your full attention to flow with your breath. Notice how the inhale is different from the exhale. You may experience the air as cool as it enters your nose and warm as you exhale. As you turn more deeply inward, begin to let go of noises around you. If you are distracted by sounds in the room, simply notice them and then bring your intention back to your breath. Simply breathe as you breathe, not striving to change anything about your breath. Observe and accept your experience in this moment without judgment. paying attention to each inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders to thoughts, plans, or problems, simply notice your mind wandering. Watch the thought as it enters your awareness as neutrally as possible. Then practice letting go of the thought as if it were a leaf floating down a stream. In your mind, place each thought that arises on a leaf and watch it float out of sight. Returning to your breath as an anchor. Over and over again if you become distracted by thoughts. Breathe in and breathe out. 2. Deepen your inhale. Long exhale. Maybe let it out with a sigh. Starting to bring your awareness to the space around you. Finding some movement in the fingers and the toes. And eventually finding a good morning stretch. Reaching the arms above the head. Point the toes. And find the space in the body. You're lying down. Then start to roll to your side. And take a few breaths there. Seeing how the breath changes from lying to your side. And eventually finding your way to a seated position. And as you're at a seated position, noticing the physical space that you take up. Noticing the energetic space that you take up. And the metaphorical space that you take up. And we'll end with 3 inhales, like as a collective. And so as everyone takes these inhales and exhales, you can feel how connected we all are with our breath, with the prana, the life force that we all provide each other. Starting to take an inhale in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands to the heart center. I wish you all love, light, and happiness. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. If you guys have like recommendations of what you guys would like to see in the classes, then I would be more than willing to plan a class around that and give you what you're looking for. But thanks everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks Wendy.
Thank you. Can I get the video?
Who was that? Is that you, Mom?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll send it to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Allie, Kyle wanted to join you for a little bit while